Welcome to the year we started a podcast. It's a podcast born phoenix-like from the ashes of last year's podcast, where we sometimes max out my recording. I'm sorry if that hurt your ears. I am
Sometimes
your
we
co-host,
also
Jeff.
mac out. Sometimes we mac out. And I'm your other co-host, Nick. And I didn't let you finish who you are, so.
That's fine. And it doesn't matter, because this is our podcast, Nick. One and both of us are... I don't even know where I'm going with this. We have a podcast where we like to talk about some of the things that are fun and interesting to us, despite the fact that we are half a continent apart. Nick, I have some things to talk to you, so we need to get to this. Is there anything?
Shoot.
Is there anything you need to get out of the way before we get going?
No. Go.
Perfect.
Good.
All right. Thing one. We mentioned this in our Patreon podcast, Nick. I'm not super happy about the events of the old March Madness stuff.
Nope.
Wichita State, we just lost, given a good couple-hour break between then and now to be able to recover. It's not been a great time for me. I will say, I tried to make it feel like I wasn't as upset as I was in our Patreon podcast, because that's a...
Don't worry, I can feel the pain. I can feel it coming through.
The pain is here. March sadness is a real thing. I am a little bit glad that I get to get it out of the way now, but I cannot tell you how disappointed I am to have nary a team to cheer for.
Sorry, my friend.
Which is a little bit condemning, because I live in Kansas. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Nick. I do live in Kansas.
Is that right?
There is another Kansas team that sometimes people cheer for. Specifically,
it's not Wichita State in basketball. Are you sure?
Yeah. You can look it up after the show.
Okay.
There was a time back in 2008, I believe it was, where I would consider myself a fan of this particular team, but since I went to the school that I graduated from, Nick, I can't fake it anymore. I'm a Wichita
State those
fan.
people.
I can't.
Oh, you like the school you went to.
How dare I?
Have you tried going to a different school that has no sports ambitions? Because that's working out great for me.
Hey, Nick, here's the thing. Okay, we need to stop, because here's what happened. I got a little bit upset about the fact that my team was no longer in the tournament. My Chiefs lost in the Super Bowl. We got knocked out in not even the first round. We got knocked in the frickin' play-in round from the frickin' March Madness thing. I have no sports stuff to cheer for the frickin' next half a year. So I was a little bit upset, so I told my wife that she needed to figure out our intro topics if she wanted me to be happy. And so here are the intro topics from my wife.
I just want to let you know that women do too much of the emotional labor as it is, and this is just you perpetuating the issue.
Please do not give her more ammunition.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thing one, Nick, what is something that you are selfish about? And again, I was last week willing to go first if I need to, but what's something
wait, selfish about, just in life, or in my relationship, or
no, you just really don't want to compromise on. It's just oh man, this is the thing that I do for me, this is how I like things.
My workout habits and my friend habits are very I mean, I do compromise on them, but I do it very begrudgingly, and especially my workout habits. I'm not the most active workout person. I'm not the fittest guy you'll ever meet or anything, but I want to ride my dumb bike when I want to ride my bike, and I want to get on the treadmill when I want to get on the treadmill, and I want to lift my weights when I want to. I'm not going to do it around everybody else's life. I don't care if it's my wife or if it's my dad or my brother-in-law or whoever. I like all those people. They're all great people. But you guys do it.
I'm not so uncertain that I'm not married to you. That is literally my wife's answer too.
Hold on. Can I just say that I am pretty certain that you're not married to me?
Well, thanks for the clarification for myself and our listeners. My thing is, which is much less... my thing that I get annoyed about is when we have joint chores to work on, such as cleaning the house. I'm the sort of person I'm like, okay, no, don't go there, Nick. Like, I'm more than happy to do my
makes
part.
me want to say, more.
Can you, yep.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do my part. However, I like to do my part with my entertainment, and my entertainment is podcasts, and my podcasts are listened through my AirPods. And so here's how it goes. Like, okay, what do we need to do? Okay, we need to clean the house because the kids are finally asleep. The house is a wreck. I'll do the downstairs, you do the upstairs. I'm like, okay, perfect. And then I put in my AirPods and listen to whatever podcast I'm listening to. And then it's like 0.4 milliseconds later, one other random conversation piece. And like, I take out, like, because I can't hear it because I have the AirPods Pro and they're noise canceling and I have that on by default. And so I can't hear anything. And so, like, we just started doing this. And then I put the AirPods in, like, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go clean the downstairs. And then I can't hear anything. And then Katie's like, oh, you were listening to your AirPods, etc. I almost said blah, blah, blah. And that would be very rude. Very intelligent and important thing to talk about currently. And then I'm like, okay. And then I respond. And I put my AirPods.
Can I just say that I don't think that it's like offensive to say blah blah blah. It's like an etc. It means etc. But I liked your save there. It was a good save.
And then it's like, okay, and then I move on, and then I have my AirPods in, and I can't hear anything because I'm cleaning up. And then it happens again, and like I can't help but be annoyed because I hate cleaning up. It's my least favorite thing, but I know that it's my responsibility as a good part of our relationship as a spouse that's trying to take care of this household. And I'm happy to do the thing, but man, like, I just don't like being interrupted. So I definitely don't passive aggressively take out my headphones and say, "What did you say?" every single time that happens. It definitely doesn't happen like 5 or 6, 7 times when we're doing things. And my wife. Okay, go ahead.
No, so I just want to let you know that one, if you. It's good that you're not here because if you did that to Jen, she might break you. She might actually like hurt you physically. And also, and I know this because like Jen. So I sometimes will just not hear her. I think that I have bad hearing. I don't really know or care, but like I think she's just like kind of a soft-spoken person, but like. Sometimes I don't hear her, and if I don't hear her enough times, then I've like ruined the evening. It's just it's the end of the day. Okay, like, all right, I heard this one. I said one more time, too many times. It was more than one more time. It was 3 times, and I apologize, and it's just I ruined it. Okay,
let me take myself off the broiler here. So here's one thing I really don't understand. And I don't know what the actual physiological reasons for this happening are. I feel like if my wife yells for me in any part of our house, I can hear it perfectly. And I can match the volume and intensity of that yell no matter where it is, no matter how loud or how quiet it is. And there is just, apparently, there is a threshold at which there is no loud yelling that I can do to match that. Somehow I can hear it, like I can hear her. But there's no way that I can, like, I could find a fire truck level loudness megaphone and not be able to have my wife hear me on the other side of the house or whatever it is. I don't understand what it is.
I understand. Okay. I understand. I've got it figured out. Okay. You know how some people lose their hearing because of concerts? That's my self diagnosis for myself. Yeah, your wife has lost her hearing because you and I are very loud. But you especially, you are a loud person. I love you. You're great. You're loud. I am too. I am too. So she just lost her hearing. And when you're too far away, it's not her fault anymore, okay?
So, Nick, here's a funny thing. I've known my entire life I'm a little bit loud. You're the first person that's ever told me I'm loud, and it's a little bit hurtful.
But it should be extra hurtful because I am annoyingly loud. I am like you're not too loud for me at all. By the way, I'm not complaining about you as a co-host or a friend or anything like that. But you are loud. I am obnoxiously loud. So at least you got me beat. At least you're not as bad as me. So don't worry.
Please save my feelings, Nick.
Jeff, damaged. No, you're not loud.
No, you're not. Just joking. Okay, we gotta keep going, Nick. We're already into this podcast. I have 4 things we can talk about. I think I skipped one of them. Who knows? Who can keep track? The other thing is my wife, again, I told her that she needs to figure out these topics. She also wanted to know what the best day of the week is. I know what the answer is. You go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Saturday's the best day of the week.
Okay. Is it? Okay.
Saturday's the best day of the week. You don't have work in the morning.
Okay. No. You don't have work in the morning.
You don't have work in the morning. You don't have crap to deal with for the next day.
What? Okay. What would you give second place to?
I actually want to say Friday. I want to say Friday.
That is the right answer. So good job. You've answered correctly, at least on the top two. But is not Friday the best because you get through it and you know you have Saturday the next day, which I know maybe a little bit like saying that Saturday is the best day, but knowing that you have this glorious thing, in the future.
In front of you.
Because like on Saturday, the next thing you have is the one that's before the last one. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's tough. I feel like you still have like long work days on Fridays. I don't know. Like I feel like that's just, you still have enough responsibility, and like I don't get to go do the fun thing on Friday. You get the relief. You definitely get you get a bigger feeling of relief on Friday, but you don't get to go do the fun thing. So I kind of feel like Saturday's the best day.
Okay, I actually completely agree with you. I was just trying to play devil's advocate. Okay, and then this last one was my son's question, who I didn't anticipate participating in our podcast.
Avery, let me into your world.
He stated, and I thought it was a very interesting question / statement. It's hard to tell sometimes with little kids whether it's a question or a statement. All roads connect. We were going down a road, and I asked, so we have a fun thing that we do where I ask him if he wants to go the secret way to our house, which is taking some back roads to our house, or if he wants to go the normal way. Spoiler alert, the 4.5-year-old always wants to go the secret way because it's the secret way.
It's a secret.
But there is a extra back roads way to get to our house. And so I've started doing the thing where I ask if he wants to go the secret way. And he asked me, how do you get to our house from the secret way? And I'm like, well, you go down some roads, and he's like, actually, you know what? I understand, because I'm pretty sure all roads connect together, right?
Can I just tell you that is actually like a really astute question, like for a 4-year-old to like have figured out, but like, and also it's such a thing that we take for granted. But yeah, like I'm pretty sure that like every road in mainland America is probably connected, right? Like, because it, what would the point be of like, oh, this is Highway 237, but it's, you do have to go in the dirt and off into a field for half an hour to get to Highway 237.
That's the exact thing. Is like, okay, so first off, I thought like, wow, of course that's actually true. I've never thought about that. And then I Googled it, and of course it's the internet, so there are like some absolutely obscure exceptions to the rule.
Right. You can, if you want to talk about like nonsense that is a complete one-off, right? But if it's a one-off that's connected to anything that's like a major road, then yeah.
And even minor roads, you can basically like safely assume that any minor road in northern Canada will be able to get itself to any minor road in South America. And
that's kind of cool.
It's way more interesting than I would have thought, because that multiple things. There's the fact that these are multiple nations, or in the case of Canada to South America, if you go to the southern tip, you're talking like probably a dozen nations along the way. But there's just no spot in our road system on any continent that you really have much of a gap where you would not be able to get to any other particular road. You may have to go way out of your way to do it. And there may be very small exceptions on like farming communities and stuff like that where they ride but like all those sort of things are all like non-car cars. Like that's likely where you drive your farm truck to go from one farm thing to the other farm thing. There's no like, oh, I want to go to some place to another place that actually doesn't connect to anywhere else. Which in hindsight makes complete sense because, like, definitionally, a road has a purpose, and that purpose is to take you to another place.
Yep.
And if there is no other place to go to, there's no purpose for that road. And if people can't get to you, there's no purpose for that road. So, aside from very, very few exceptions, roads are all connected. And it took a 4.5-year-old to really make me think about that. And I thought that was freaking crazy. That was so cool.
That is crazy, and it's awesome. Like, I just want to let you know your kid's smarter than you. But
for sure. For sure.
I love it.
Okay, so Nick, that was my 4-topic intro. I was going to say trifecta. That's not enough. Quadfecta.
Yeah.
Quadfecta.
What do you call a duel? Like,
we're not going to worry about it. Okay. We're not going to worry about it. Okay, Nick, I've talked about random topics enough. I would like to dive into the topic that you have here that I think my wife may be a little bit interested in too, potentially. Nick?
This is a little thing. This is a very small thing, but I just want to, so we got a Peloton. Me and Jen got a Peloton because we're, we want to be posh. We want to be smart.
I hate having to edit this out for my wife, so she doesn't know.
Wait, what?
Just kidding. She knows.
Okay. All right. No. So we got a Peloton, and we've both been using it a lot, and I really like it. Have you used your Peloton? You guys have a Peloton.
So we don't have a Peloton. We have a Schwinn something 3, and it is not a Peloton, obviously, by the name, but we use the Peloton app. And by we, I mean 90% to my wife. That's actually pretty generous for me. I'd say 98% my wife, 2% me. Use the Peloton app, which is significantly less expensive, but not exactly the same experience as you get with the
Do you still get the lessons
Peloton
and stuff? I assume is that what you basically get out of it? Is the lessons?
From the app,
or the classes? I should say, not lessons. I said
lessons.
Yeah. Classes.
The whole point of the Peloton app, as far as I'm aware, is for us is the classes. Yeah, you get all the classes, and it's like $10 a month or something like that.
That's really not bad at all. No, okay, for sure. And so, do you like the classes? Do they work for you, as a motivational tool or an engagement tool to keep you kind of connected? That
is such an interesting question, Nick. I generally speaking, am very averse to canned classes, meaning a person trying to entertain a bunch of people into working out. I will give that exception though, and this is contrary to I'm contradicting my own self, where I say I don't really listen to music a whole lot these days. If there are 2 rides that I have found particularly I can't help myself but get a good workout in because of them. Okay. And that is the Hamilton ride and the Queen ride. I think the Queen ride is an hour
Hamilton
long.
Ride? What am I doing with my life?
Dude,
Jeff, I might need to go.
Dude, you freaking need to do it. And I'm not the sort of person who really gets motivated by people on screen being super motivated. But there is good, despite myself, there is good music that I can't help but try hard to. There's probably some other different 80s music stuff on there that I would be incredibly motivated by, and I wouldn't be able to help myself but try hard. But otherwise, generally speaking, that doesn't really do it for me. Especially, I remember back in the day when, my wife and I had first moved out, and I was 19, 20 years old, and there was P90X. It was really big at the time.
P90X.
I freaking could never do I definitely did do it. I did the bare minimum that it was just never my thing.
I think I missed that time frame by just a little bit, because to me P90X was just a really silly commercial. It's way too hard.
It was though. It was.
You have to also imagine that I'm 16 at that point, right? If you're 19, I'm 15. So when you're doing it, I'm watching the commercial as a way too cool for school.
I'm
15-year-old.
I'm myself so hard.
I know. I'm cringing at you. Don't worry. But also 15-year-old Nick was especially cringing at you. Get a hold of this guy. Oh, Mr. Tryhard over here.
Well, screw you, 15-year-old Nick. You suck too.
I agree. He does. Okay. But more importantly, okay, so this is the whole thing I wanted to talk to you about was the classes. So I'm enjoying the Peloton experience. Jen's getting more out of it than I am, but that's okay. I've still used it. I think I've used it like 5 times in like, I don't know, 12 days or something like that. So I'll take it. It's good. But the lessons or the classes, one of the guys that does these classes, he's flirting with the camera, Jeff. He's hitting on the camera, like actively. Like he'll go, yeah. And then he'll like smirk and wink at the camera. And I'm a married man, Jeff. I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, it is a real thing.
He's like straight giving me vibes. It's like a single person in a club in a movie. Like not just like it's way extra. It's like, yeah. I can't do it. It makes me uncomfortable.
So I do agree. I will come to their defense. There's like a bazillion people that do rides on there, so you can find people that are less that way. But
I also I don't want to. I'm not taking anything away. If I had to be sweaty and tired while on camera to hundreds of thousands of people or whatever it is, that would make me uncomfortable, and I'd probably do things, and you probably want to project confidence. But like, could you not like laugh, smirk, and wink in that order? Could you not? Is that not the move, please?
Oh, Nick, like 30 seconds ago was a really good time before I had that mental image of you. Dude, leading a Peloton class. Can we go back to that time?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, let's go back. I never want to lead one, and I never will, and I will never wink at you through the camera.
Yeah, Thank you for clarifying that. That
I'm
helps
also
a lot
probably
to not think about it.
I'm probably also, over emphasizing the winks and crap, but this guy's done it multiple times. Is all I'm saying. It's like,
gosh.
This is a really good topic. I thought a lot about this one. You
did great. Okay, but like legitimately, any Peloton spouses out there, I don't know what the demographic looks like, but of our listeners, if you are a person who has access to a Peloton bike or the Peloton app, I'm telling you, you want to hang some crap, Nick, and I will give that some credence. Like, it is a little bit cringy at times. But there are legitimately, if you could do the work to find them, some really good rides. The Hamilton ride is fantastic, and the Queen ride, which came out right before Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie, came out.
Oh, nice.
Those are both freaking nominal. So you should go do that, Mr. California mountain biking guru.
Totally. No, yeah, I would. I'm super into that, and I'm not trying to actually like. Yeah. I also totally get the point. And like I said, if I was on camera, I would probably just try to make everybody comfortable and project confidence, and like, yeah.
Also, regardless of us being butts about the whole thing, it apparently has inspired like an entire group of people to be super fit. Like into fitness more than they would have been otherwise. Like my wife has freaking done, I think she said in a group chat, like 350 rides now or something crazy.
That's crazy, right? That's insane. That's awesome.
In like a year and a couple months, which I'm not sure if you're aware of the number of days in a year, Nick, but there's only so many.
Hold on.
And like I said, I've only done like 5 of those rides, so the rest are probably hers.
Jen made it very abundantly clear that we needed to have separate profiles. She's not being lumped in with my bull crap. You want to do a 10-minute let's ride? What's wrong with you? You're not ruining my stats. No, it's not fair. Great. I don't know why. She just
keep at it, Jen. Keep at it.
Yeah.
It's good.
But seriously, it's a genuinely good thing. Like, that's awesome because like if more people are into fitness at all, that is like just better for our whole freaking world, I think. There's probably there's a level where you can go too far and have an unhealthy obsession with anything related to fitness or body image or whatever. But like for the most part, we're probably better off if we're all working out a little bit more, probably all live a little longer and feel a little better.
So, Nick, I would like to talk to you about Tony Hawk. Have you heard of Tony Hawk before?
Once or twice I have heard of Tony Hawk. Yeah.
So
that's the guy that's a bird, right?
Yeah, he can fly like
Cool.
like a sparrow or something.
Sick. Pretty cool.
No, okay. So Tony Hawk, he was a pro skater when he was, I don't know, like 14 years old. Like he was super, super young. And it really wasn't a thing that was a career, at least not in a lucrative sense, until the X Games were a thing. And he was
when Tony started out, the pro skate scene was like very, very amateur-esque, right? Like I'm not saying that to diss on that. I just mean that it wasn't a like international national thing where people were flying out to tournaments and stuff, right? It was very like
certainly not certainly
immature.
not like there was no international competitive scene, at least that I'm aware of. Like
immature is a better way to put it, I think. But I said amateurish. That's just me searching for the word, and it's not fair to those skaters. But yeah.
So this sort of thing, the same sort of stuff was happening in BMX at the same time, and probably other things that I'm not super in tune to. But the X Games were created, and I think it was 95 that the first X Games happened. And that was when Tony Hawk really dove into the scene. The 95 X Games were a little bit before my time, which I can only assume that as a person who would have been the age of my son at the time, also was not super aware of.
I actually competed in the 95 X Games. Yeah.
Congrats, as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
But the next X Games, or at least I think the next X Games, I'm not exactly an X Games expert, but the 99 and going into 2000s, I really, really remember how much Tony Hawk had a hold on our attention those years. At that point, I would have been 10-ish years old, and I was getting into video games. Video games were becoming more and more of a thing of our daily lives as a kid in that time. And a couple things.
I mean, he was ubiquitous with skating at the time, right? Like, I mean, he was like 100% what you associated with pro skating at the time, right?
Well, because before that, pro skating was a concept that was unheard of. Like,
right.
He was pro skating because pro skating before then was literally nothing. It was not a thing. And in the 99 X Games, there were a couple things that were happening. I mean, he certainly... Okay, I do want to give credence to the fact that in the 95 X Games, or whenever it was, he made a name for himself and got himself onto the scene, and that kind of set up all the things that would happen thereafter. But in the 99 X Games, a few things had happened, and all of them were very impactful to me as a young, very not even a preteen at that point. I was 10 years old. I at that point I don't remember exactly when this had happened, but this would have been in the Napster times. I think this is what's the statute of limitations on illegal downloads of highlights of things?
Jeffrey, did you use Napster to illegally download? Oh.
It was at my grandparents' house because our internet was way, way, way too slow for that.
And you made your grandparents an accessory to the crime?
Yeah. I mean, which I think you could probably tie the same sort of things that I enjoy doing this podcast to the same sort of things that I enjoyed doing then, which was I made highlight videos of really cool sports-ish things that I thought were cool back then. It will be no surprise, Nick, given the topics of these podcasts and the timing of this topic. I had a lot of Michael Jordan things. I had also, though, some Tony Hawk things. And in that, I had Tony Hawk's first 900 that he pulled off. Are you aware of like what this was like then? Like you would have been too young to have known it at the time, but are you in post and aware of what all happened?
So like I'm aware that he landed the first 900 ever. It wasn't in a tournament, right? Or it wasn't an X Games, right? It was
So it was at the X Games.
Okay.
But what happened was, so there was I'm saying this like as the 10-year-old reporter in me. Like, this is a thing that I remember. It was made aware before going into the X Games that he was going to attempt the 900.
Yes.
and he failed like 3 times, and maybe it was like 4 times or something like that. And it got to the point where he was over time on doing the trick. So he was certainly going to lose because he had literally just crashed like 4 or 5, 6 times or whatever.
But he just kept going.
All of his competitors were egging him on to keep trying. And the entire crowd, like, which for today's standards, and honestly by most sports standards, like the crowd that he had, especially for such an indie sport as skateboarding, was ridiculous. And everybody was so into everything that was going on. He tried again, and he failed. This is like completely unheard of, allowing a person to keep going in a skateboarding competition. Obviously, in X Games, it was a very young sport, but also completely unprecedented. But he was such a big name and was such a huge reason why this sort of thing even existed in the first place, that like the crowd and his competitors kept cheering him on. It was like the 9th or 10th or 11th attempt, after like getting cheered on by all these people, he hit the 900, like grazed off the ground with one of his arms, but basically landed it cleanly. And the crowd went crazy. Everybody went crazy. It was like Jordan won his 6th title. Like, it was literally amazing, especially considering we're talking about skateboarding here. And
something that I love about non-team sports and just non-traditional sports, I guess, or extreme sports or whatever, is this like, at their best, they have a lot of purity. That's not just the competitive drive part. I think that, basketball and football, you wouldn't see people egging on, like, I mean, you can in very exhibition-esque moments of when Kobe had his last game and he was, just taking shot after shot, the other teams cool with him. But if tomorrow Steph made 12 threes or 13 threes and he was like, okay, is he going to hit the 14th one? The dudes on the other team are going to be trying to get the ball out of his damn hands, right? And you'll never see that not never see that, but you don't usually see that. The same thing is true of, mountain biking, but also skateboarding. It was definitely my experience with skateboarding growing up, that people were way more supportive of people who could be like, quote unquote, their competitors. Mm-hmm. And then also BMX and motocross. But sorry, keep going.
Well, and another one I'll say, which is kind of the opposite season, but Shaun White in snowboarding.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're super 100%. Aware of all that stuff, but it's almost a guarantee that I will talk about Shaun White at some point.
Good, because I like Shaun White, but I don't like Shaun White. Kind of came into for you, and I don't know if we've talked about this much, but my friends in high school were all, not all, but a lot of my good friends at high school skated, and I knew people who skated competitively and stuff, and I skated very poorly. Very, very poorly. But I could do a kickflip at some point in my life, so there you go.
Oh, wow.
I know,
They're better than I ever did.
It only took me a year.
I did own a skateboard, though, because of Tony Hawk, no less.
Bam. It was very good for a Northern California kid. It was like, okay, well, how am I going to get around? It's either a bike or we're all in these tiny little towns that are also a pain in the ass to get across town, so... But anyways, more importantly,
do you know Shaun White's quote where he's on air and asked about something about drinking or something like that? And he's like, "Yeah, Mountain Dew, baby," or something like that.
That's a great answer. No, I don't know, but I love that idea that he just responds with, "Yeah, I drink Mountain Dew."
Mountain Dew, baby. It was so smooth and so perfect
because he was a competitor at a very young age, right?
Yeah, he was a very young man who should not have been drinking.
Oh, good.
But came up with that really good comeback, which I thought was perfect.
It was really good. So I think Shaun White basically just missed me by a couple of years kind of thing. I think I kind of paid attention a little bit to skateboarding in I want to say 06, 07, maybe 08, but I think that I basically missed Shaun White's skating career by an inch, It
was really cool as a person who saw him in his prime, and then he had a good run here lately. I don't even remember. It would have been probably 2018, because I think the Summer Olympics were supposed to be this year, or 2020, and got delayed, so it would have been 2018. I'm not sure if that's correct, but he had a good run then. I will
Very cool.
hop though in some other things, and this may be another thing that predates you a little bit. But I'm curious to get your thoughts because I know you. I've heard of video games before.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater was my jam. I was obsessed with Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Jeff. I was obsessed with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1.
We haven't gotten to that yet. But Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the first one, was going to be released or was released right around the time that Tony Hawk hit his first 900.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which
wasn't that like his special trick, or was that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 where they had like the ultra tricks or whatever the hell?
So I think Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was when the 900 was like a thing that you could do, and it was like a thing that mattered. Because Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 was before anybody had officially in the X Games or on film, where it wasn't cut off a little bit early, had actually landed the 900.
Gotcha.
So that was a big focus of that. Nick, played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I'm at a loss for words for the number of hours.
Right. When you think about it, like you're like, okay, so I was a kid. I probably played it basically every day. I had zero responsibilities. 1,000 hours, easy. More probably.
And like, there's a lot of things that a lot of games that I look back on of like, oh man, I really enjoyed the time I spent doing that. I don't think there is a better example though of something that if I were to jump back into today, that I would have so much fun if I could go back and just spend an entire day playing freaking Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Like, what a great game.
Genuinely, the next time I see you, we're going to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, because I'm completely with you. I played 1 a lot. I played 2 some, but I didn't always get the video games that I wanted, so like my parents didn't understand. Like, this is not like me complaining like, oh, I had a hard life growing up. I didn't. But like my parents didn't get it. Like, they're like, we already got you Tony Hawk Pro Skater. What do you?
So there's funny couple stories here. So at first I could not remember which one that it was that I played like 700,000 hours of, and I had to go to YouTube to see which one it was. That took about 0.4 seconds to figure that out. It was like, oh yeah, this one with the music that is literally ingrained in my brain for the rest of my life.
That's fantastic.
My wife also played a lot of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, funny enough. However, similar to you, she did not have didn't have parents with an understanding of, we want to play the cool game. She played the demo version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which had the first level and like one song.
That's what I was gonna say. You could just play the first level. The first level was sick. What's the problem, man? We're chilling.
So play the first level in PS1 like 1,000 times or something like that. I really, though, the thing that I loved so much about that, and there's one other game, and I won't talk about it, but I really, really loved the course creation aspect of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. And I spent an ungodly amount of time designing courses that would be things that me and my friends would compete on and had like so many different unique things about them. I think that is I like creative outlets a lot. I've done writing over the years. I've done podcasts over the years, if you're not aware. But I do think that game design is a thing that is something I'll never do from a money-making professional level. But I do genuinely love the parts that go into that. I loved that so much because that was such a good game designer thing. And we're talking about something that was made 18 years ago or something like that. Ridiculously long ago. Yeah. Way before something like, what would have been the equivalent to that? Like a competitor to game design inside of a game, like Little Big Planet back in 2006 or so?
I guess, yeah.
Maybe? But like completely different sort of thing. And obviously Mario Maker and stuff like that these days. And I just for its time, the level design that you could do was
so ahead of unbelievably ahead of the time. Like the amount of tools you had, I completely agree.
And the whole game itself, I absolutely think is like one of the most fun things ever. I think though the amount of fun that we got from levels that we or myself designed literally could have been a game in and of itself. Like we had so much fun doing that sort of thing and trying to string together ridiculously long tricks.
Yep.
Like I look back on that with such fond memories. It was I don't know. I really, really feel like those games were really good. I feel like they got launched absolutely into the stratosphere because of the timing between the first release and Tony Hawk, like propelling himself into the stratosphere with him landing the 900.
Yep.
Like it was such a cool time, was such a weird thing because like there were lots of other games too. Like I don't know, you probably would have been a little bit too young again, but there were snowboarding games and wakeboarding games at the exact same time.
I completely. I mean, I was probably a little young, but like that stuff hit my family's like interest in video games like super hard. So like we had all those N64 games, or my cousins had those N64 games. You know what I mean?
But they splashed, and I don't think it was particularly necessary. I don't think it was necessarily because of the gameplay. I think it was because of the combination of the gameplay plus the person like literally hitting their peak during the exact time that it was getting released.
And he was an awesome ambassador who was like likable and fun and like just a lot of stuff. And I completely am with you. Did you play Dave Mirra Freestyle, by the way? The game that wishes it was as good as Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but I loved it. No,
I didn't.
It's a BMX, but...
Oh, frick, yes, no, I did. But funnily enough, it was also the demo version, kind of like my wife played. I played the demo version of that.
I loved it. It was really good.
No, was it made by the same people?
It
felt like it kind of was.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Let's ask Google. No, it wasn't. It wasn't created by the same.
Well,
so what I will say, let me not belabor the topic too long, but let me say, one, did you know that I've been to several X Games?
Absolutely no. I have not known this to be a thing.
Yeah.
So let's stop a second and talk about this.
So my cousins live in LA County, and I used to spend the summer. Or not the summer, but like parts of the summer with my cousins. Some of my parents would go on like their, anniversary trips or whatever, and I'd spend it with my cousins. Mm-hmm. And my cousin is really, really big into motocross. Like I think he still rides. He did like amateur races and stuff, but he's really big into motocross. So we watched I'm looking it up. I'm sorry, I am that guy. Okay, X Games 9 and 10 were both in LA and or in the general area of LA. But we watched I watched Travis Pastrana win gold in Moto X Freestyle as like a 12-year-old, which was
that
insanely cool.
It was like the year that he did the backflips?
I think
because
so.
There was like I've never watched any of that at all, but I do remember watching the year that he did the double backflip or whatever it was.
I don't know if it was the year he did the double backflip, because I think it's before that. Here, let's look it up.
Okay, let's look it up.
Okay, so he did his first ever backflip on a motorcycle in 2000, but broke his foot. But he did not do it. It wasn't the first time, but I do think he did a backflip because he was out with an injury, and it was like everyone knew he was the best. Like we came to watch Travis Pastrana. Everybody around us was like, "Oh yeah, we're just waiting for this guy to come out here and just amaze us all." You know, it was like his showing out kind of thing of like, "Oh, he was hurt for a while, but everyone knows he's the best in motocross freestyle." And so I say that as somebody
he
not
did a double
knowledgeable
backflip at X Games 12 in 2011.
Okay, yeah. So, see, I'm pretty sure I was there in 03 and 04. Like I am looking at these and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so we're really close. Only 8 years off.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
But no, he landed in X Games 12 at 2006. Jeff, we're only 3 years off.
I'm sorry. That was when this video was posted to YouTube.
Fair. But it was super cool.
Details. Yeah, no, super cool. Yeah.
This also says that Chad Muska won street. I didn't get to watch skateboard vert, which is what I would like wanted to go there for, but like nobody else seemed to be, or it like was hard for us to get over there, or it was like something. I forget what it was. But then I do think I remember watching Chad Muska win skateboard street, which was super cool. Chad Muska was a badass from who I liked a lot from Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. And the other thing I'll say with the X Games is I still think one of my favorite sports moments in anything ever, and this goes to that same point of the community and like the vibe of these kinds of sports being very different, is the 2000. I looked it up before this when I saw your notes. The X Games 7 vert run by Bob Burnquist. Mm-hmm. He wins gold on a nearly flawless run where he's basically just riding fakie the whole time. And the person he beat, Bucky Lassick, had the best score ever in X Games vert at that point, I think, before that. And he had to like go crazy to win it. And the point being that Bucky Lassick is like good friends with Bob Burnquist. So when he wins it, like Bucky's just as excited as anybody else, even though he just got silver instead of, you know what I mean? He just like rushes the half pipe and is just as excited as anyone else. And if anyone needs to see something just like super fun and hype and just all of the energy that you'd ever want from sports and community and crap like that, and just seriously insanely fun stuff, is you should look up Bob Burnquist wins skateboard vert gold, because it's so good. It's like 2 minutes long and you will not regret it. It's just all kinds of hype.
I will have to check that out. Honestly, I've probably seen it before, but I'd be happy to check it out again.
Fair.
So I want a couple last things as we close this out. One of the things I didn't even know how else to talk about this other than just to say what it is. The half pipe sound from skateboarders as they are prepping for a trick like the 900 or whatever, where it's a very, like, they're not trying to do anything special. They're just doing the up and back, like the sound of the wheels going up and then the click click and click click as they land is like the most cathartic thing ever.
Yep.
Like, it sounds so nice. Like, it seems so weird to even say that.
So, like, I'm completely with you, and I will let you know that is true across like every other kind of extreme sport. Like, there's just a sound that is like associated with like the feel of it. Is the same thing with mountain biking. It's the same thing I think with snowboarding. I'm not as knowledgeable of snowboarding, but just like the sound of like carving on those is just the best thing in the world. It's like so satisfying, and cathartic is right. Is it puts you in a mind space, right?
And then the last thing, I actually do have so many dang things I want to talk about, but
Good.
Like we're coming up on an hour, so I do want to talk about this last tiny little bit, which is Nick, if you're not aware, which if you're looking at the show notes, you certainly are at this point.
No.
So Tony Hawk at age 30 or 31 or whatever it was, got his intro into fame with the 900. And it has been done since then. There is, in fact, a kid who has landed a 1080 successfully at least one time during the pandemic, where he's kind of focused on that. So it's going to become a thing that becomes more and more regular, but it's still very, very, very difficult. And in 2016, at the age of 48, he landed what he declared as his final 900.
Could you go? Hold on, Tony. Go away. There's not enough. I know Tony's a listener. I didn't want to mention this, but go away with your final one at 48. I already feel like I'm breaking down now.
It really is crazy, and I don't really get that. Like, how a thing that is very difficult / impossible. Like, we're not even talking about highest of levels. We're talking about potentially unachievable for most people of a trick to do in an athletic sense. To be a thing that isn't okay for most people to be doing, but yet here is a person who is dang near 50 years old and pulling it off for the last time. And like if you watch the video of it, like the dude takes a beating, but he pulls it off and he lands it. It is actually eerily similar to his first one, where he kind of like grazes, like he kind of windmills his arms and grazes the ground as he's landing.
Oh my god,
like,
that's so appropriate.
It really is the beautiful bookend of an absolutely beautiful career. But not to say that he's done. I mean, the guy still does skateboarding things, but we have lots of examples of people that have done things late into their careers that are, exemplary. We have Tom Brady, who won the Super Bowl this year, as much as that hurts my...
Okay, so Tom Brady doing the Super Bowl, or winning the Super Bowl out for 47 or whatever he is, it's pretty cool, I guess. But Tony Hawk doing a 900, pretty cool. Can we talk about how Vince Carter can still do a 360 dunk and he's like 43? Can you stop? Can you stop that? Like, it's not
really?
okay.
I was actually,
he did a 360 dunk.
People.
Yeah, he did a 360 dunk last year. I'm pretty sure, like before he retired. And I am sitting there like, you look. The way that you're jumping almost makes you look like you're old, like older than 43, and yet you're still doing a 360 dunk, and you're not that tall. He's not like a freak tall. Oh, it's pissing me off. It's amazing. It's unbelievable what these athletes do, man.
Okay, so I'm going to share one Vince Carter related anecdote, and then I'm going to share one last Tony Hawk anecdote, and then we're going to call it good.
Okay.
So I mentioned earlier on that I had perhaps engaged in some slightly illegal activity when it came to creating highlights of different sporting events. We won't get into the details.
For shame.
I want to let you know that you had Napster, but I just want to let you know that until I was like 2008 or 9. That we had viruses on our like family computer from my sister using Kazaa and LimeWire. Like 100%, 100% it was from Kazaa. Like I will die. I will go down fighting her. She put viruses on the family computer.
It does seem likely. Like in all fairness, that does seem likely.
Yep.
So,
anyways, go ahead.
Okay, so I had. Back in this, so I made the highlight video. I think in that highlight video, and this may not all be true based on the timeline of things, but there was the clip of Tiger Woods pitching in one of the most ridiculous shots of all time. I'm not sure if you already know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, I'll send it to you after in post. There was Michael Jordan doing Michael Jordan things. There was Tony Hawk landing the 900, and then there was Vince Carter jumping over the 7-foot guy in the Olympics. That was. Go ahead.
No, just the what was his name? Frederick Weiss or something like that. This poor guy. That dude. That's
he sent him into
unbelievable.
he sent him into the Phantom Realm. Like
he really did. He's not a person anymore. He's not allowed to be. I'm sorry, dude. That's a dude who's an Olympian. That is an Olympian whose career is to me defined as the dude that Vince Carter dunked over, like went over as a human. That's not okay.
It was so ridiculous. Like I probably watched that clip 70,000 times. Like I don't even know the number that I can say that is overestimating the number of times I've watched that clip.
That's completely fair,
especially as a young man. Like. Because I'm not sure if you're aware, Nick, Mr. Vince Carter is not the tallest the guy on the block, but he can jump okay.
He jumps pretty good. Good.
The last thing I want to mention is I think that Tony Hawk has aged incredibly well, not from the standpoint of he can do a 900 into his 40s, but rather... I think that Tony Hawk is one of the coolest celebrities that I've seen on the internet. Like, he is the most chill dude. Are you aware of kind of his motif? I've seen some
of his funny Twitter stories and Twitter responses to things, but nothing like not anything big. Or I haven't followed him recently. So 2 things. One. I'm also not
hilarious.
On Twitter,
so. Yeah, me either. Well, a little bit more these days with the podcast, but he basically has this motif where he is very very open to the fact that he's in the skating scene occasionally, and people obviously know his name but don't necessarily know who he is, and they will ask his name and he will say Tony, and he'll say stuff like yeah, I used to do a lot of skateboarding stuff, and they're like, oh, Tony, like Tony Hawk, haha, that's funny. And he's like, yeah, a lot like that. But there's lots of funny things about that.
I think I saw one where he like went to rent a car and he got there and they're like, oh, we canceled it. We thought we were getting it was kid prank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think my biggest takeaway with who he is as a person is very, very down to earth, and in a way that I don't think is disingenuous. Like I do feel like there are lots of celebrities that have that kind of faux genuine, like I'm still definitely a person that's I'm still definitely just like you guys.
Expensive coffee, am I right? What's that go for these days? $600, $700?
Yeah,
huh?
But everything that I've seen about Tony Hawk is he is the sort of person who is very much grounded, and I don't know, I have a very high threshold for what I think that sort of thing. Like my BS filter for that sort of thing is very, very high, and he passes that. I think he is a genuinely good guy. He is a good dad, and is, I think, a good role model for people that want to do good things in the sport that he helped create as a thing that people can do as careers. He seems like such a dang good person, and I would be remiss if we were to talk about all of the things that he's influenced throughout my life and video games and entertainment. But
tomorrow we're going to find out you've been embezzling money for 30 years. Just, as you say this now, like 100%. Tomorrow it's like, he's been a secret criminal the whole time.
I would genuinely be heartbroken if that were the case.
I don't want to get... Or he like runs the Illuminati or some nonsense. Just like the most, it's like, God dang, you can't win. You can't win. I like these athletes, and they're not nice. Damn it.
No, I do think Tony's a good guy.
I think so too.
We'll see if I'm wrong, but I like seeing that sort of thing.
I think he's like 50 something years in now at this point. Like, we hope that that we've got a pretty good sample size to know. Dude, I completely agree. He seems like just the awesome kind of ambassador that every sport wants, right? And like that we want for kids that like are going to look up to an athlete. We shouldn't really care that much about the personality of our sports heroes and shouldn't let them, parent our kids or be our role models for values. But it is really awesome when one actually lives up to it and is grounded, kind, and by all means humble and gracious, and
And he's old enough now that he's had more than ample opportunity to screw it up. So I don't know. I'm optimistic that we'll put this one in the books as a win.
Hey, before we do, I just want to let you know that the reason that I wanted to go with the Tony Hawk one first is I was like, we've barely recorded anything today, and we're gonna cut some stuff. Probably we should do both topics, and I'll just do mine second. No, that's fine. I don't mind. But we have an amazing power to talk about things for a long time, and if we're gonna devote that power to Tony Hawk, I'm totally cool with it. So,
and if you would like to pay for that power, you can support us at patreon.com/stylish.
What a segue! Just.
Absolutely selfless plug, just like Tony would do. But seriously, we super appreciate all you all that support us. I hope you enjoy our Patreon-only podcast that we record right before this. And you can always support us as well by sharing with a friend. That is the absolute best way for this thing to grow. I have had an absolutely enjoyable experience sharing multiple shows that I listen to. And as well as that has gone, I have also, even more so, had the absolute amazing benefit of hearing just the reactions from people that have gotten this recommended to them. We have had multiple topics recommended from this show from our Patreons and other people. And I really, really think that is a awesome thing. Nick and I can only spend so many hours in the day thinking of dumb things to talk about. So if you have anything that you would like to chat about, we'd be happy to hear about it at tywasap@gmail.com. Definitely check us out there, and at tywasap anywhere that social media is a thing.
I will say, actually, I don't want to get too far away from it before I make this amazing, funny joke, is that I can actually come up with a million dumb topics, just you guys don't want to listen to them. Okay, so you're saving yourselves from me.
The amount of things that I have to edit out. It's ridiculous. But yeah,
and the amount of ideas that Jeff has to shoot down. One time I just
Snapchat, Nick. Gosh dang it! Shut up! I'm trying to finish my thing.
Jeff once came to me and was just like, and I told him, Jeff, what are your thoughts on birds? And he just was like, that can't be a topic, Nick. And
hey.
That turned into a great topic. I'm sorry. But continue. Why don't you do your outro? You're good.
Yeah, I'm definitely not distracted at all. Okay. Anyways, yeah, blah blah blah. Share with friends. We really appreciate you. That last part was genuine. The part before that was because Nick is a jerk. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to pod with me, Nick. I guess.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you all so much for listening. This has been the year we started the podcast.
You're the worst.
I got it backwards too. I apologize. I f***ed it up, and you're welcome.